I'd like to call this meeting of the Peoria Planning and Zoning Commission to order. I want to welcome everybody attending tonight's Planning and Zoning Commission meeting here in person. Looks like we have a few in the audience. I'd also like to welcome those watching on Peoria Channel 11, as well as those who might be viewing on the city's website at peoriaz.gov. We're going to start with roll call here. Commissioner Clay Alsop.
Here.
Commissioner Mitch Bolnick. Not present. Commissioner Bill Lewis.
Present.
Commissioner Sean Hutchinson the Chairman Hutchinson is absent or not present at the moment. Commissioner Jay Atlusky.
Here.
Commissioner Brian Patterson.
Present.
Commissioner Lee Strickman. Not present. And I, Commissioner Jeff Nelson, am present. I'm going to read an opening statement now, if I may. Planning and Zoning Commission is composed of Peoria citizens who have been appointed by the City Council to serve on the Commission as a civic responsibility without compensation. Our duty is to study and review planning and zoning issues within the City of Peoria and to forward our recommendations to the City Council. All hearings are conducted in accordance with the rules for procedures and Robert's Rules of Order. Each case will be called in the order in which it appears on the agenda, unless otherwise announced during the meeting. In the interest of maintaining a fair and efficient hearing, the Commission adheres to the following steps. Chairperson calls the case. Staff gives a brief report and recommendation. The applicant is invited to give a presentation. Opposition and support gives testimony, generally limited to 3 minutes per speaker. The applicant may give rebuttal, followed by Commission discussion and decision. Anyone wishing to speak must complete a speaker's request form and hand it to the planning assistant on my left. We ask that you please be as brief as possible and avoid repeating statements already made by others. Anyone wishing to protest the decision of a Commission public hearing item must request a second public hearing before the City Council. The request must be submitted in writing to the Peoria Planning and Community Development Department within 10 days of the Commission's hearing. All Commission recommendations on public hearing items move forward to a regular City Council meeting. The City Council will then act on the recommendations of the Commission. They may concur with the decision, modify it, or overturn it. We welcome and encourage citizens' comments, and as fellow citizens of Peoria, we thank you in advance for your participation. This is the final call to submit speaker request forms. If anybody wishes to speak, please fill out a speaker request form and provide it to Ms. Ernest, seated to my left at the end of the dais. Next item is consent agenda. The consent agenda is for items that are routine in nature and consists of 2 items, I believe, tonight. Item number 1 is disposition of absence, discussion and possible action to approve, excuse the absence of Commissioner Lee Strickman and alternate member Clay Alsop from the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting held on April 20th, 2017. Item 2C is the minutes, discussion and possible action to approve the minutes of the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting held on April 20th, 2017. Do any commissioners have any questions or comments about either of these 2 consent agenda items? Seeing none, do I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move for approval of the consent agenda as presented.
Thank you, Commissioner Lewis. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Commissioner Atlusky. Please vote. And they're unanimously approved. We're now going to move on to new business. We have 3 items under new business today. First item is 3R, case number CU17-02, Drive Tech Auto and Truck. A public hearing will be held to consider a request for a conditional use permit to allow an automotive service facility within an existing industrial warehouse suite located at 21469 North 78th Avenue in Suite 150. The site is in the Deer Valley Service Center Planned Area Development, Z95-14A.4 zoning district. Staff, please present your report.
Good evening, members of Commission. My name is Randy Proch. I will be presenting tonight's item 3R, CU17-02. This is Drive Tech Auto and Truck, a conditional use permit. The applicant is Chuck Burris. He is the owner and operator of Drive Tech Auto and Truck. This location is proposed at the southeast corner of 78th Avenue and Deer Valley Road, just off of the main drive out in Deer Valley, located adjacent to New River. The suite size is 4,481 square feet, and the request this evening is a conditional use permit for automotive service establishment. The site is zoned Deer Valley Service Center, Planned Area Development, that's a PAD. This PAD has the underlining zoning districts of Intermediate Commercial, which is C2, and Business Park, BPI. For a automotive service center in these zoning districts, a conditional use permit is required. To the east of the site, you can see that is actually the city of Glendale across New River, which has a myriad of zoning districts, A1, CO, and PAD. To the south of the site is the Fletcher Heights neighborhood, also a PAD. And to the north off screen is a small church site that is zoned SR35. DriveTech operates Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Their proposed floor plan is on the right-hand side of the screen. The services would include general automotive repair, including fluid changes, engine and transmission services. The entirety of this business will be conducted indoors. Any vehicles that are required to stay overnight will be stored inside the suite or within the enclosed yard. To the south of the floor plan that's shown, you can see where the door is to access what is a screened area for storage. It's a 6-foot solid block wall. A notice of application and notice of hearing postcards were mailed out to any resident within 600 feet and HOAs within 1 mile. And the site was posted in accordance with our city requirements. We have received 1 email in opposition and 1 email in support. With the opposition, it was received within the first 21 days, which required a neighborhood meeting. This meeting was held on April 13th at 6 p.m. at Sunrise Mountain High School, which is just adjacent to the site. The meeting was represented by the applicant, myself, Vice Mayor Edwards, and 2 members of the public did show. Both of these members of public actually represent Deer Valley Car Care. Deer Valley Car Care is another automotive service business within the same service center, just to the west of the proposal. The 1 member of opposition that opposed the case did not attend this meeting. The issues that the opposed party brought up were health, noise, and home value concerns. Our responses are as follows. The center was designed for business park uses, like automotive service. The suite will include all appropriate ventilation systems to mitigate any smells or odors. This service center is designed as a service center. A majority of the other suites are a myriad of uses, including a school, gym, swim lessons, and professional offices. Regarding the noise concerns, the business is located approximately 150 feet away from the nearest residential property line and buffered by a 60-foot landscape area. The service center has existed for a large number of years, and that landscaping has matured greatly. Regarding the home values, staff nor P&Z Commission review proposals based on this. For our key findings, the use is designated as a permitted conditional use within this zoning district, which is a PAD. The use meets the locational provisions and development standards for the zoning district in which this property is located. And this use will not be materially detrimental to the health, safety, or general welfare of the surrounding neighborhood. Our recommendation for item 3R, which is CU 17-02, is to approve the case subject to the conditions outlined in the staff report. With that, I will take any questions.
Apologize. Thank you very much for that report. Do any commissioners have any questions? Hearing none. I've opened the public hearing. Is the applicant present tonight? Yes, sir. Do you wish to speak?
Randy pretty well covered everything we do, so I think we're going okay with that.
Are you in agreement with staff's recommendations?
Yes.
Very good. Do any commissioners have any questions or comments of the applicant? Mr. Ernest, do we have any speaker request forms on this one? All right. Well, if we have no comments, I'm going to close the public hearing now. Any last comments from commissioners before we vote on this item? Oops, I'm getting a little gavel happy here. Sorry. All right. So I have no questions, so we're going to go ahead and vote on this item now.
Mr. Chairman,
We need a motion, please. Thank you.
I've moved for approval of case CU 17-02, subject to the conditions listed in the staff report.
Thank you very much. Do we have a second?
Second the motion.
Thank you, Commissioner. All right. Now, please vote. And it passes unanimously. All right. The next two items under new business, they are related items, so we're going to ask staff to present on those together. However, we will vote on each of those separately. The first case is, make sure I get the number right here. First case number is GPA16-0005, landmark on 67th Avenue. The second item, 5R, is case number Z16-0010, landmark on 67th Avenue. Staff, please present your report.
Mr. Chair, thank you, Commissioners. Good evening. This request is located to the east of Grand Avenue at 67th Avenue and Olive Avenues. It's just north of the northwest corner. The applicant is Greg Zimmerman, and he and the property owner are in attendance tonight. The proposal, or the request, is to amend the general plan land use map from medium density residential, which is 5 to 8 dwelling units per acre, to medium high density residential, which is 8 to 15 dwelling units per acre. And then the second part of that request is to rezone the property from intermediate commercial C2 to multifamily residential, which is RM-1. The development proposal along with that is 56-unit, two-story apartment proposal at a density of 12.3 dwelling units per acre. The size of the property is 4.55 acres. Surrounding this property, working our way clockwise, to the north is commercial. It's a mini storage called StoreQuest. To the east is 67th Avenue, which brings us to the border of the city of Glendale. And then to the south is commercial. It's Pollock Olive Retail Center. And to the west is multifamily existing residential that's called Haciendas del Sol. The current general plan land use designations for this property, as well as all the properties adjacent to it, is a medium density residential, 5 to 8 dwelling units per acre. Opposite, on the other side of 67th Avenue in the city of Glendale, is an R16 zoning district that's compatible with our city of Peoria zoning as well for that land use category. The current zoning for the property is intermediate commercial C2, and again, starting on the north and working clockwise, we have central commercial, which is C3 for the mini storage, and then again, in the city of Glendale to the east is the R16 zoning, and then to the south is a matching intermediate commercial zone, C2, and then to the west is the multifamily RM1 zoning. So the first request under case GPA16-0005 is to amend the general plan land use map for medium density residential, 5 to 8 dwelling units per acre, to a medium high density residential that is an 8 to 15 dwelling units per acre. This proposed land use designation supports areas of attached single-family homes, apartments, condos, and townhomes. The zoning request, request number 2, is case Z16-0010, and this is to change from the intermediate commercial C2 zoning to the RM1 multifamily residential zoning. And staff finds this to be a request that we can support because it's compatible with the nearest residential community and the predominant zone for the vicinity. 2, the property falls within what we call the infill incentive district, which allows up to 1 dwelling unit per acre increase of total density. And then 3rd, this serves as an appropriate transition zone between the adjacent land uses. That brings us to the development plan. Site plan summary, we have 7 two-story apartment buildings, 56 total units, and they're all 2-bedroom units. And the entry will be gated, and it will be decorative with the pavers and some of the enhancements that we typically see with this type of development. One of the highlights of the community is it's going to have connectivity to all its open spaces and amenities. And another addition is that at the main entry there will be a pedestrian gate for people to go out and hit the main public sidewalk and go down to the commercial. The development standards found in our zoning ordinance for the RM1 zoning district that they wish to go to is below there in the table. We see 50% lot coverage. Minimum interior setbacks is 20 feet. And in this case, when you have apartment buildings, it applies to the separation between those buildings, which they're in compliance with. 20 feet from 67th Avenue, and then on the rear, it's just 15 feet. However, this applicant, realizing their neighbor is close, the existing Hacienda del Sol community, they extended that setback to as much as 65 feet. I have there over 60, but it's actually about 65. Max building height can go up to 48 feet, but they have limited this to about 26 feet, roughly no more than 30 feet for this project. And then minimum usable open space is based on 150 square feet per bedroom with 112 bedrooms. That brings us to 16,800 minimum that they have to provide, and they have exceeded that. And then these are just some views of the proposed exterior elevations. For case GPA 16-0005, staff supports this case with the following findings: that the amendment constitutes an overall improvement to the city's general plan, to the medium-high density residential land use designation provides a land use category that will allow for a development that is compatible in scale and intensity with the surrounding area. And 3, the request is in conformance with the goals and objectives and policies of the general plan, and by exceeding standards in usable open space and community connectivity. For case Z16-0010, for the rezoning request, we support this with the findings that the proposal is in conformance with the goals and objectives and policies set forth in the City of Peoria General Plan for multifamily residential developments. 2, the rezoning request is consistent with the general land use plan designation of medium-high density residential, 8 to 15 dwelling units per acre, with a target of 12 dwelling units per acre, and has adequately justified exceeding that target density. The development lies within that infill incentive district, and based on the size of the property, it qualifies for an additional 1 dwelling unit per acre increase in overall density. 4, the request is consistent with the zoning and development patterns in the vicinity, and 5, the development concept includes additional frontage improvements that will provide increased pedestrian safety and connectivity. With that, staff recommends approval of case GPA16-0005 to the City Council as proposed. And for case Z16-0010, we recommend approval as well to the City Council with the conditions in the staff report. With that, open it up for any questions.
Thank you for your report, Mr. Allen. Do any commissioners have any questions of Mr. Allen? All right, seeing none, I'm going to open the public hearing. Is the applicant present tonight?
Yes.
Do you wish to speak?
If the commission has some questions for me, yes, otherwise,
Are you in agreement with staff recommendations?
yes.
Okay. Do any commissioners have any questions or comments of the applicant?
Yeah.
We have one? Okay.
I guess just a statement.
I'm sorry, could I just hold a second? Can we have you come to the podium, please, and state your name and address for the record? Sorry, Commissioner Olszewski.
No problem.
Members of the Commission, my name is Greg Zimmerman, and I reside at 7333 East Scopa Trail, Carefree, Arizona.
Thank you. All right, Commissioner Olszewski.
Okay, it's really just a simple statement that I appreciate staff and yourself working to provide the single-family homes some kind of separation, because I'm sure that would have been a thought on their part, is putting a two-story building right there. But the separation you gave them, and I think you showed us a side view from there that looked very attractive. So I just want to say we appreciate you thinking through that, and staff's, I'm sure, was part of that recommendation too. Yeah, it would be, is it the side then that we're looking at?
It would be the top image that you're looking at right now,
Yeah, the
but
side.
skewed at about a 30-degree angle.
Yeah. So you're providing a very attractive apartment building as well as a separation, and I just wanted to state that we appreciate you thinking that through.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate that.
Any other commissioners have any questions of the applicant? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Ernest, have you received any speaker request forms on this? None? Okay. I'm going to close the public hearing. Any further comments from the commissioners before we vote on the first item, GPA 16-0005? Hearing none, do I have a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve GPA 16-0005 condition to the or subject to the staff conditions.
Perfect. Thank you, Commissioner Olszewski. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Commissioner Lewis. All right, please vote. All right, we have unanimous approval on the first item. Do we have any comments from commissioners before the vote on the second item, Z16-0010? All right, seeing none, do I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion. I move that we send a recommendation of approval to the City Council on case Z16-0010.
Thank you, Commissioner Lewis. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Commissioner Olszewski. We have a motion and a second on the floor. Please vote. And we have a unanimous approval on that as well. Very good. Okay. All right, the next agenda, or next item, that is it for new business. Next item is staff report.
Thank you,
Staff,
Mr.
please present your report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission. Just a couple items tonight. The next meetings, we will have a June 1st and a June 15th meeting next month. So 6:30 at this location. We will see you then. Also, as you know, we are in the process of updating our general plan. There's been a lot of discussion about that, a lot of some study sessions. We've been out in the public over the last couple of months, some city events, trying to get some feedback from the public, which has really worked out quite well. We've gotten some really important feedback as far as the people's vision or their idea of what the future of the city will be. Just want to give you a heads up that 2 weeks ago we had our workshops, our workshop number 1. We actually had it at 3 different locations, but it was the same workshop in 3 different locations. We're going to have workshop number 2 coming up. It'll be June 5th, 6th, and 7th. They'll be in the same locations, different order, I believe. So they will be, again, it'll be a new workshop, but will be repeated 3 times in the south, central, and northern parts of the city. And the locations will be, the first one is Sunrise Mountain Library, that's on the 5th. Copper Hills Church, that's up in West Wing. That will be on the 6th. And then on the 7th will be the Development and Community Services Building. And that's, all those will be from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock in the evening.
We'll send the commission a flyer. We'll go ahead and do that.
Yeah, and that information will also be available on our website on Plan Peoria AZ. That'll be updated here in the next couple of days. So anyone watching should be able to visit the site as well.
And just one last item before we move. I just want to let the commission know that Commissioner Bolnick did tender his resignation. He will be moving actually to the city's Economic Development Advisory Board. So that will bring about a vacancy, so we'll be recruiting a new commissioner. So if you know of anyone that might have any interest in joining the commission, please have them work through the city clerk's office. And with that, I think that's it from staff.
That concludes your report? Perfect. Next item is to open the public hearing. Are there any comments from the public on non-agenda items? Hearing none. Reports from, I'm sorry, I did not open and close the public hearing. Do I need to redo that? Banging the gap. Okay. I'm going to try that again. Excuse me. I'm going to open the public hearing. No comments. No forms. I'm going to close the public hearing. I want to do this correctly. Reports from staff. Do we have any reports from planning and zoning commissioners? All right, Commissioner Olusky.
Actually, I have a kudo for Adam. We're in the middle, or I'm in the middle of the Peoria Leadership Institute, and we were together, 2 weeks ago, and Adam knows everything about every development in the city of Peoria, and he was quizzed on every single one of them by name and answered when, how many, what it was. I don't know how you remember all that, but I just wanted to give you kudos publicly of the talent we have here in Peoria.
Thank you, Commissioner. I don't remember how I know that either. Sometimes it's fun to blow the cobwebs out.
All right. Any other reports from any other commissioners? All right. Hearing none, I'm going to adjourn the meeting. Thanks, everybody.